Hello, my name is Leah Kalk. I'm a licensed clinical professional counselor and the director of the Idaho Radar Center at Boise State University. This is National Prevention Week, and I've put together 4 short videos on different prevention topics. Today's National Prevention Week theme is preventing youth tobacco use, including e-cigarettes and vaping. Vaping devices, also known as jewels, e-cigarettes, e-vaporizers, vape pens, vapes, mods, or electronic nicotine delivery systems, are battery-operated devices used to inhale an aerosol which typically contains nicotine, flavorings, and other chemicals. They might look like an actual cigarette, a pen, or even a USB memory stick. There are more than 460 different e-cigarette brands on the market right now, but even though they each may have a different design and appearance, they generally operate in a similar way and are made of similar components. Vaping devices are now the most commonly used form of nicotine among youth in the United States. Most vaping devices use a battery as their power source. The battery powers the atomizer, which is the heating element. The atomizer heats up the e-liquid, which contains the nicotine and/or the flavors, and it's in some kind of cartridge or pod. When someone inhales through the mouthpiece, they are inhaling the aerosol that's created from heating that liquid. For many years, people were told that e-cigarettes and vape pens only produced water vapor that was safe. But actually, the cloud you see when someone is vaping is a mixture of many different chemicals that were either present in the e-liquid to begin with or produced during the heating process. An aerosol is a mixture of liquid particles suspended in a gas and can contain many chemicals. Many of the same chemicals and toxins found in cigarettes can also be found in the aerosol that e-cigarettes produce. So even the cartridges and pods that don't contain nicotine still have many of these chemicals and toxins which enter the user's lungs and leave a chemical residue behind. Similar to secondhand smoke, secondhand aerosol includes the chemicals released into the air either directly from the vaping devices themselves or blown out from the lungs of the person vaping. Nicotine, heavy metals, ultrafine particles that fall deep into the lungs, and cancerous chemicals can all be found in secondhand aerosol. Research on vaping is not complete. It took several decades to understand the health risks associated with smoking that are now widely known. Early research suggests that teens who vape are at greater risk for smoking cigarettes in the future. In fact, one study showed that high school students who reported vaping in the last month were 7 times more likely to report that they had smoked cigarettes when asked 6 months later, as compared to students who reported not using vaping devices. Now, if someone is already a regular cigarette smoker and they switch completely to vaping devices, research suggests this could be less harmful. However, most research on adult smokers has not demonstrated that vaping is a successful long-term solution for smoking cessation, and the FDA has not approved e-cigarettes for use as smoking cessation device. More research is needed to understand the full effects of the chemicals and carcinogens found in the aerosols from e-cigarettes that are exposed to the lungs. There are also reports of lung illnesses and deaths related to inhalation of certain vaping oils into the lungs, which have no way to filter out toxic ingredients. Using nicotine, whether from a cigarette or from vaping, affects the development of the brain's reward system, and continued nicotine use can lead to addiction, and it could also make other drugs such as cocaine or methamphetamine more pleasurable to a teen's developing brain. Nicotine use during adolescence also affects the development of parts of the brain that control attention and learning. Nicotine doesn't just have an effect on the brain. It can increase heart rate, increase acid reflux, cause insulin resistance, or even impact reproductive organs. So, what can you do to prevent your teen from smoking or vaping? The first is set an example. Choose not to smoke or vape yourself. Don't allow others to smoke or vape near your teen. This would be both modeling desirable behavior for your teen, but it would also prevent their exposure to secondhand smoke and aerosol. Talk to your teen about nicotine and vaping. Discuss the risks and help them analyze commercials, TV, and movies and their impact on people using these substances. Adolescents whose parents or other adults in their lives strongly disapprove of their smoking or vaping, even if the adults themselves smoke or vape, are less likely to start. Parent disapproval has been found to counteract some of the influence of peers on smoking. Now, for a general prevention tip, define rules and consequences. Tell your children clearly that you expect them not to use nicotine, alcohol, or other drugs. Don't assume they already know. Establish appropriate consequences for breaking these rules. You can even involve your teen in developing the consequences. Thanks again for listening. Remember, we have a ton of free resources and materials on drug and alcohol use prevention and more at the Idaho Radar Center. For more information, please visit our website where you can browse and order these free physical or downloadable materials from the comfort of your own home.